जय जय श्री राधे श्याम निताय गौरांग भगवान जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आजानुलंबित भुजौ कनकावदातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। Welcome everyone to this transcendental program of Param Dharma discussion, satsang, which discusses or provides the association to associate with the absolute. Sat means Shashvat, or one of the essential aspect of absolute. To be called anything absolute, it has to have three aspects. It has to have eternity as its essential aspect. Second is, it has to be an experience, and the experience has to be blissful. So when the three are combined, when something becomes an eternal blissful experience, it can be called absolute or divine. So we welcome everyone to this program, this gathering, where the absolute or the divine is discussed. It's a wonderful platform to associate with the divine, with the absolute. Currently, we are studying Sri Sikshastakam, the 8 essential prayers of Bhagwan Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We must be able to appreciate that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the latest version of God's manifestation on earth. There have been previous manifestations of divinity, but according to time, place, and circumstances, we will be most benefited by following the directions of the latest version or latest manifestation of God. The message is the same, but the process and the presentation is different, suiting to the present time. And that's why we emphasize our special respect or honor for the teachings and the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur matam idam tatradhara na para. That's why we have maximum or highest regard for the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the opinion of Mahaprabhu. And what is the opinion of Mahaprabhu? Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesh Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Brajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradhara Napara. Aradhyo, the most worshipable deity, the most worshipable form of God. God is only one, but he can manifest in different forms, different dispositions rather, because he's limitless. So how many ways he can manifest himself? One person can manifest in unlimited forms. In Mahabharata, the Vishnu Sahasranam describes it. Anek Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Prabha Vishnave. But they have one thing in common. They are all pervading. So the all pervading cannot be plural. All pervading can be only one person, singular. So the all manifestations in different dispositions, they are one and the same person. Difference is only in disposition. So from the disposition point of view, the rupa, the form, Krishna stands out. That is what we discuss about the Krishna conception. So much stands out. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing with the, what is that personality? Raghupati Upadhyay. So he asked many questions to Raghupati Upadhyay when Mahaprabhu knew that he's a staunch Krishna devotee. Then Mahaprabhu, just to trigger his, enthusiasm, he asked, so which form you consider as the supreme? And Raghupati Upadhyay, he describes Shyamam evam param rupam. One who appears in Shyama form, blackish, darkish, Shyamam evam param rupam. Then he said, which is the best abode? So, the Purim, Madhu, Purim, Vara. Among the different abodes of the Lord, because the Lord resides in different dispositions, because He's all pervading, He's everywhere. So He can simultaneously be in unlimited places, unlimited abodes. But the supreme abode is Golok Vrindavan, Madhupuri, Mathura Mandal, same thing. Then because Krishna in his manifest pastime, he reveals that he appears as a child, then he grows bigger and bigger and attains the youthful. So, Vayaha Kaishorakam Dheyam. For meditation, his most meditated or most meditable form is his youthful form. Kaishorakam Dheyam Kaishorakam Vayam. Vayam means his age, fresh youth, adolescent, his age. That's the most adorable, most worshipable. And what is the rasa? Of course, Krishna associates with different devotees, with different specific relationship with him, with the mellow, in servitude, in great appreciation, shanta rasa, in dasya rasa, in servitude, in friendship, sakhya rasa, then in parental affection, different. And those who are attracted to him in conjugal, in intimate relationship. So Krishna, because in conjugal rasa includes all other rasas. The example is given is comparing all these five rasas to the five tattvas, gross elements of the nature. Just like in the sky, what is the symptom of the sky? One guna, sound. Shabda hai ke. I am the sound in the sky, Krishna says. The essence. So this question I had asked previously, but again, one should think that is the sky from the sound or sound from the sky? This question is the water from the taste or taste from the water? This contemplative question we have raised previously. Anyway, here the subject matter is the sound has one symptom. The sky has one symptom. The sky is symptomized by the sound element, and as a further it transforms, then the air is produced. Correct. So the air has two elements. air also has sound, correct? If the wind blows, sound comes. But it has also another element, that is the element of touch. Then when the air further disintegrates, what happens? The light is produced. We find that when too much rubbing of things, like in the forest also, when so much wind and so many trees, when they become so much coming across, then the light comes. If you what is the English word? I'm not getting. English is not so. So the light of fire is produced. So fire is one additional element. Fire has also sound of the sky. Fire also has the touch of the air. And additional, fire has the form. You can see the fire. You cannot see the sky or you cannot see the air, but you can definitely see the fire. So one more element. And when the fire that further disintegrates or expands, the water is produced. The liquid has one additional. So liquid or the water has the three previous symptoms: the sound, the touch, the form, but it has also the taste element. And as the water further expands into earth element, so earth has five symptoms. The earth, we see the sound in the earth. We see, we can touch, we can feel the touch. We can also see the earth, we can taste the earth, and it has one additional element or symptom, which is called smell. So Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Ras, Gandha. Shabda means hearing, touching, form, seeing, Ras, tasting, and smelling. So these all five are in the earth. In the similar way, from Shantaras has one symptom. In Shantaras, there's pure appreciation for the beauty of Krishna, but there's no element of desire to serve the Lord. In Dasya, in servitude, rasa, tremendous appreciation for the Lord nonetheless, but there is a service attitude. In Sakhya rasa, there is appreciation, there is also service attitude, there is also intimacy. Intimacy means tremendous how to Vishrambhena, without, is tremendous confidence that Krishna is like my buddy, and so I can play and joke with him. So that kind of confidence is closeness in friendship. So additional symptom. In parental affection, tremendous appreciation for the child. Of course, always service attitude to bring the lot of joy for Krishna, and also there is a tremendous faith, and also the tendency to do the parenting or taking care of Krishna, taking care of his needs, like this. Lalan Palan, what you call in English, Lalan Palan, taking care of the. And in conjugal rasa, the Adi rasa, is a possibility of serving the Lord with all the limbs, like gopis, or in intimate relationship. So that's why, because the Adi rasa or the conjugal rasa includes all the other rasas, that's why the para rasa, the highest rasa, is conjugal rasa, and that is symptomized. Krishna is represented by Adi ras, because Adi ras includes all other rasas. You cannot say Krishna is symptomized by is reciprocating with the Shanta. In Shanta rasa or Dasya Rasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, is so Adi rasa, Ujjwal rasa is the representation of Krishna. So that was the Krishna concept we discussed, and the sentiment expressed in the fifth sloka. Basically, we entered the Bhav Bhakti, the first step towards Bhav Bhakti, where the emotions are exclusively devoted to be with Krishna. Somehow the hankering. Bhav Bhakti is a stage of hankering. The hankering is that one is very much perturbed by the separation from Krishna, and he wants to associate with. So the shloka which we discussed, we will go a little deeper into this prayer. What kind of prayer Mahaprabhu is presenting, where he says, O son of Nanda Maharaj, Ai Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavambudho, Kripaya Tava Pad Pankaja, Stita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya. Please be merciful upon me, because I am your Kinkar, your eternal servant, fallen in the dreadful ocean of material existence, is a result of my actions, my fruitive actions. Please, so Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja, please consider me as a particle of dust affixed on your lotus feet. Sthita Dhuli Sadrisham, like dust, is a particle of dust. Wow. That is the position Mahaprabhu is establishing of the living entity. So insignificant. Nonetheless, Krishna's, the only glory of the living entity, however insignificant, however fallen, however incapacitated, we are Krishna's. That is our glory. So it gives the adhikar, it gives the right to the living entity to call upon one's source, one's master, one's shelter. That's why he's begging. Accept me forever as your purchased. I belong to you. I'm yours. I owe my existence to you. You are my source. I exist because of you. So you can have me, definitely. You can have me. You can consider me as your purchased servant. Now, this kind of expression or hankering, what it shows, it just gives some idea what kind of situation all of us are in this material world. And as a human being, if we come to appreciate what message, what insight Mahaprabhu is trying to attract our attention towards, it would be very, very, very amazing, because you must understand that this present life or life in this material world, everything is a beginning and end. Everything is agantuk. So no matter how progressive our material journey or journey in this material existence, its end result is death. And if one is not able to see beyond, or one is not able to perceive, one is not able to realize the possibility of life, and not only possibility, but possibility of divine or eternal life, desirable life or aspirable life, eternal blissful life. If one is not able to spot or identify life beyond death, that would be a biggest loss. That would be a biggest self-deprivation. And that's why Mahaprabhu is preparing us that the kind of life and kind of phantasmagoria we have been experiencing, and kind of oblivion, carelessness we have We have lived with, since eternity. Now is the time to wake up to our absolute end potentially. What is the best we can get out of this body, or this lifetime rather? So the question could have been raised, is it proper for the sadhaka to think like that, who has taken up the process of Harinam Sankirtan? Harinam Sankirtan, it gives great promise, and it's a complete package to attain the perfection of our human potential. But Mahaprabhu in this sloka, where the real sentiments are being expressed, to reflect upon the miseries of material existence. Should we so much reflect upon the miseries of this material existence? If anybody has any doubt, then Mahaprabhu is expressing this. He's expressing that, oh my Lord, although this world is created by you, life is given by you, my existence in this, but this is not the place I want to be here stuck, become stuck for eternity. Since eternity I have been stuck here. Now enough is enough. That's why it's very essential that we reflect upon, especially while we have taken this process of Nam Sankirtan. We cannot be oblivious to the fact that we are meant to cross over this realm of nescience, of repeated birth and death. It's not that we will just have very fun time doing Sankirtan and just don't worry about anything else. No. The purpose of participation in Sankirtan is to develop our higher taste. If we remain stuck in the lower taste of this material world, we are not doing enough. It's the same thing like we are taking the medicine, but we are not following the precautions. That's why when Mahaprabhu says, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, he's staying away. He's saying, I don't want this, I don't. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. A person may, and it sounds very good. Wow, what a renounced person, what a detached person. I don't want dhan, jan, sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. But in order to not want these things which most people want, most people hanker for these things. Man, puja, pratishtha, wealth, prestige, education, janma, aishwarya, shruti, shri, beauty, education, lofty position, lot of wealth, opulence, prestige, all these things. Mahaprabhu says, but in order to not want or hanker for this thing, there should be something much more wonderful to be hankered after. We cannot remain without hankering something, because this material world, in this material world, everybody is abhavgrasta. So most people pass their lives just trying to work out to be able to have those things which they are missing, whether it is wealth, whether it is progeny, whether it is education, beauty, any sort of things. But Mahaprabhu in the last sloka, he says, I don't want. But in order to not want those things which are most desirable otherwise by the most all conditioned souls, there has to be something very, very sublime. So what he said, Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvahi. The amazing thing. In order to not want those things, many people in the name of spirituality, they aspire for moksha, liberation, mukti, mumuk. But Mahaprabhu even let go of even that. He does say, I don't want even liberation. Mama Janmani Janmanishware. Birth after birth, all I want is unalloyed devotional fervor for you. So the difference between what Mahaprabhu is proposing compared to the proposal by other so-called stalwart practitioners, renuncianists or salvationists, so many philosophies and ideas. But because they don't have the satsang, because they don't have the association of those who propagate the highest fortune which Mahaprabhu has exposed, which Mahaprabhu has bestowed upon the human society. So, bereft of that satsang, satsang ultimately means what? Satsang ultimately means attachment to the divine, attachment to our highest self-interest. So in the scriptures, this the importance of satsang is very much glorified, where devotee, after having benefited from the effect of satsanga, he is saying, Aho Mahatman Bahudosha Dushtopi Ekena Bhattesha Bhavo Gunena Satsangamakhena Sukhavahena Kritadyano Yena Krisha Mumuksha. This is the ultimate benefit of satsang, that in a human form of life, one naturally desires everybody, even conditioned soul. Everybody is because plagued by so many miseries. Birth, old age, disease, and death, these are the four fundamental big categories, but in between, so many nuances and so many things. So when a person is enlightened to the effect that this material world is not a permanent place to be happy, so how I can become free from the entanglement of this miserable world? And so he aspires for liberation. So aspiring for liberation, those who aspire for liberation, they also stand out compared to those who want to remain engrossed in the oblivion of this material sense gratification. So there are basically two categories in the human society, in the civilized society: those who are engrossed in sense gratification compared to those who are liberationists, those who are aspiring for moksha, mukti, nirvana, etc. And their position looks very attractive, but both are, because both are bereft of satsang. Satsang gives the highest attainable status for a living entity. So one who has attained the association of Krishna consciousness, a devotee is praising the association of devotees. And he say, Aho Mahatman, O great devotee, Bahudosha Dushtopi. Although there are many faults in this material world, miserable, any sane person can appreciate this. Although there are, Srila Prabhupada used to say, it's a bad, you have to make the best use of the bad bargain. Materially speaking, every deal is a bad bargain. So we have to just choose between which is the best bargain. Make the best use of the bad bargain, everything. So what would be the best bargain? So that's what he hinted out. Although there are many faults in this material world, there is one good thing, one opportunity. Of course, we find in the scriptures, yes, although many faults of this Kali Yuga, but one great symptom, that Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Rajat. Just by chanting the divine holy name of Krishna, one can become free from all the entanglements. So we are naturally in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are following the process of Nam Sankirtan. But while following the process, we want to bring the highest or fullest effect in this very lifetime. so that the ultimate purpose of participation in Sankirtan movement is accomplished by us, individually and also collectively. So satsang is always going to a difference maker. Devotee saying, yes, there is one good opportunity. And what is that? The association of devotees in Varnashram Dharma, Varnashram system, Vedic culture so called. It is a middle platform. First requirement that one becomes free from sinful tendencies. At least one follows the regulations. Regulated sense gratification, one is not acting like uncontrolled animalistic animals. They don't have any rules regulation. They just grave. They don't care about anything else. But the beauty of Varnashram Dharma is that there is a possibility of satsang. And because of the possibility of satsang, it appears that those who are following very strictly and very wonderfully, nicely, all the codes of dharma or rules of religiosity, they appear very spiritual. Actually, Varnashram is not spiritual. It is just it is a polished animal life, civilized animal life. It's a paradox, correct? Animal and civilized, yes. So human society, people follow some rules and regulations, but they are acting, they are just indulge in all animalistic activities only. But the difference comes due to the satsang. Because of satsang, one can be enlightened into the divine direction, divine destination. So the opportunity to associate with the devotees, this is how this is what can make the big difference. So such association brings about great happiness. Great happiness means one becomes convergent, and one becomes one becomes informed about the eternal blissful existence in the abode of the Lord. So this hope or this possibility attaining the possibility of attaining eternal blissful existence with Krishna, this brings tremendous joy. And that due to this good quality that brings great happiness, our strong desire, the strong desire, what is strong desire? To achieve liberation by merging into the Brahman, or by becoming zero like the Buddhist, or become Jinn like the Jainis or the Mayavadis. So Mahaprabhu's one name, they say Bauddha Jaina Mayavadi Kutarka Khandan. So Bauddha Jain Mayavadi, they perform so much austerity and they are very strict, because they are salvationists. But they don't understand. What they miss out is that their so-called salvation, becoming desireless or becoming non-existent, that is not the highest portion or highest status for the living entity. The living entity is symptomized by feeling. Does anybody want to become feelingless? Does anybody wants to become willingless? Or feeling, doing, and one wants to become completely inactive, totally stunned, no movement, nothing. No, that is not life. Life is synonymous with the experience of joy, ananda. So when there is no faculty to experience or feeling or willing anything, is that life? No, that is the negation of life. So negation of life cannot be the goal of life. So when those who attain the association of devotees just they discuss only the blissful experience in the association of Krishna, and that promise Mahaprabhu has come to give us. That why don't you target That possibility, which is very much in accordance to our eternal Swarupa, in accordance to our eternal identity, is a part and parcel of Krishna. So that desire, unless our consciousness is filled up with the most desirable thing, we cannot get rid of the hankering on the material platform. Even if we say, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, there's a psychology that what we resist, we attract actually. So that's why when Mahaprabhu says, I don't want na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, but he's replacing it with something so sublime. Mama janmani janmanishware bhautad bhaktara hetu kitpai. If somebody is hankering for such a higher thing, then it can be established that he doesn't have that. He doesn't want those things, because hankering for those things will hamper, will go ill together with the other hankering. We cannot have simultaneously hankering for more than one thing of the two opposite nature. Correct? So that point must be very much appreciated. But here, Mahaprabhu is establishing that this is my fortune, O my Lord. I am your eternal servant. But now I have fallen into this dreadful ocean of material existence as a result of my own mistakes. And what is surrounding lust, anger, greed, envy, and other contaminations are like crocodiles. Vishame bhavan. Visha means many negatives, many horrible things I had to face in the form of all this contamination, lust, anger, greed, envy, like crocodiles with ferocious gaping mouths, ready to devour us. Drifting here and there in the waves of wicked hopes and misplaced anxieties, I'm severely oppressed. This is what Mahaprabhu is expressing. The powerful blasts of wind in the form of corrupt association have scattered my wits, my intelligence, my vivek, discretion. They are all spoiled. The symptom of a conditioned soul, that given the multiple option, he or she will inevitably pick the wrong one. That's why Mahaprabhu said that this powerful blasts of wind in the form of corrupt association, temptation, have scattered my wits. In such a condition, I have no shelter other than you. I have tried them all out. All other shelters are fallible and therefore not at all reliable as permanent shelter or as a real shelter. We cannot call any shelter within this material world as a real shelter. And if we become bound with them, if we become attached to them, we become used to those shelters, then it's just a matter of time when the very shelter we thought will provide us joy and happiness and security, they will cause the greatest fear, because once the shelter is removed, it will be removed. Then what happens? Without the permanent shelter, we become most miserable. So fruitive activity, impersonal knowledge, mystic yoga, austerity, and so on are like bunches of straw. These are the shelters people take, correct? Even a sadhakas, they take, I will take shelter of my austerity shelter. I'm a great karma worker. I'm a great worker, karmi. Fruitive activity, I will get so much wealth and so much support system and all these provisions I will create for me. Impersonal knowledge with, that all the knowledge, all this material world is perishable. I have to just contemplate that I am eternal soul. Just by contemplating that I am eternal soul, The bodily connection cannot be removed. No? One has to live with the body. So mere just adjusting mentally is not good enough. One has to really be able to target the permanent existence of blissful experience. So whether it is fruitive activity or impersonal knowledge, mystic yoga by having different mystic powers, austerity and so on, they are compared to like bunch of straws which are just flowing in the ocean or river. Now, do you think a person who is in a drowning situation, if he holds on to these straws, what will happen? Rather than they saving him, even they will just go drown, drown them. The drowning person will just hold on to these bunches of straw which are seen floating here and there, but has anyone succeeded in crossing the ocean of material existence by taking shelter of them? But we see say, sometimes persons in a precarious situation. Precarious means he cannot save himself. Drowning in the ocean of material existence, grab hold of these bunches of straws and pull them down along with them without taking the shelter of devotion of Krishna. Bhakti bina kono sadhan dite nare phal. Without taking shelter of the devotion, no other sadhana can fulfill one's aspiration. One may perform lot of karma, but without taking shelter of bhakti, one cannot succeed in getting the desired result. Even the process to attain liberation, process to attain a lot of mystic powers, but only by the touch of devotion, only they can find the fulfillment of their aspirations. So there's a bhakti vina kono sadhan dite nare phal. If independently karma, yoga, jnana, these sadhanas, these processes cannot give their desired or aspired result. So as a karmi, only if he takes some participate in doing bhakti of the Supreme. Even jnanis, they also recite some mantras and siddhas, they also do some kind of devotional. And externally, secondarily, the primary benefit of bhakti is pure love of Godhead. But because these sadhakas, they don't aspire for pure devotional service or love of Krishna or service of Krishna. They are aspiring for mundane sense gratification or liberation or some mystic powers. So bhakti, okay, secondary effect, secondary rewards. Bhakti gives in the form of sense gratification or so-called liberation or mystic power. So bhakti bina kono sadhan dite nare phal sarva phal de bhakti param prabal. But bhakti, practice of devotional service, even not pure devotional service, even sakama bhakti, even bhakti performed to attain all these sarva kamava, all the other, but bhakti is very powerful. It also gives the secondary effects to those who are not hankering after the highest result, highest benefit of attaining the Supreme, or to become an associate of Krishna in his abode for the blissful experience of eternal life. So depending on which adhikar, what one is hankering, bhakti is able to give the result of all the aspirations. So it's up to the sadhaka. If one wants to settle for less, he remains underachiever. Bhakti is able to give the highest benefit, but if somebody wants a lower thing, what bhakti can do? So bhakti bina kono sadhan dite narifal sarva phal de bhakti parama prabal ajagal Ajagala Stana Nyaya Anya Sadhaka. All other processes or practices or advancements or progress, they are compared to like the pulp, some, it's like skin which is under the neck of a goat. Have you seen the goat? It appears like it's a stunner or breast, but it no milk comes out of it. So what is the use of the breast of the animal? If the milk does not come out, but it is other processes are compared to the skin, which is how you say, which is coming down from the neck, but it doesn't give any fruit, it doesn't give any benefit, it doesn't give the milk to it. So ajagala stana nyaya anya sadhana atayeva Krishna bhaje buddhiman. That's why the most intelligent person, or the intelligent person, will rather worship Krishna than following any other processes. So that's why Mahaprabhu is telling in this sloka that there is no refuge other than your mercy. So here the targeting the mercy of Krishna. And what kind of mercy? That I provide me eternal shelter at your lotus feet, even as an insignificant particle of dust. And how to approach the Lord? With this Sankirtan fervor. Your holy name alone is the only sturdy board, taking shelter of which the living entity can easily cross the ocean of material existence. Considering this, I have taken shelter of the very firm board of your holy name. By the causeless mercy of the lotus feet. How one came to know about this process? A conditioned soul, does he have the intelligent, has his discretion or vivek enlightened that he can make this choice? No. Only through satsang. So, because coming across satsang, this consideration comes. Considering all this, I have taken shelter of the very firm board of your holy name by the causeless mercy of the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Correct? Taking shelter of the holy name is made possible only when one comes across the devotees. Correct? Who gives us, who incorporates taking the holy name, taking of the holy name in our life? The spiritual master, the devotees. Correct? So taking shelter of the holy name is made possible. Who causes, who induces us to take this process of chanting the holy name? You are very affectionate to the surrendered souls. Please forgive all my faults, because I am without any other shelter, and consider me as a particle of dust at your divine lotus feet. Then I shall never be separated from your lotus feet. Although I am yours, but since eternity, I have existed as separated from you. Not completely, but not connected to your internal realm, Swarup Shakti. I've been just wandering in the sphere of your existence. Now because you are so merciful and you have, your devotees have enlightened me to my highest self-interest. So now I think alone like this. Accept me as yours only. Then I shall never be separated from your lotus feet. So basically, this kind of acute hankering or exclusive hankering, in order to have, one has to renounce completely. The sadhaka must completely renounce the desires for material enjoyment and liberation. Bhog tyag, dono ka tyag. This is very, very essential. Basically, the question is to be raised is, how eager is one to go back to Godhead? This question a serious sadhak should ask. It is a question, challenge for all of us. How eager are we to go back to Godhead? Do we feel anxious or precarious enough to make the exit out of here right this moment? If the option is presented, okay, the plane is coming from Golok Vrindavan. Okay, ready, free entry. Just imagine this scenario. How many will rush to get the seat? When we say precarious condition, what kind of precarious condition we are in? Even as a sadhaka, this question is asked. If the plane comes from Golok Vrindavan, how many of us will rush to get our seat? Are we anxious enough? Do we feel precarious enough to make the exit out of here right this moment if the option is given to us? Are we really fed up of our existence in this world? Or we are still very determined to improve and explore our situation here only? So again the question comes, so do we worry enough to be able to hurry enough to attaining the Supreme? Are we in a hurry? Do we worry enough? So where do we stand? Where do we stand in our perception of this world? How much still so much affinity we have this world with whose real picture is painted by Mahaprabhu. Vishame Mam Bhavam Budhau. So these are the questions for all of us. Just as Mahaprabhu is praying to Krishna on behalf of the living entity, the great acharyas, especially Prabhupada Saraswati, his prayer comes to mind. He also prayed to Mahaprabhu. What Mahaprabhu is prayed to Krishna, demonstrating mood as a devotee, entangled in this material existence, but he's not entangled, but he really hankers that out of here to your shelter. So where he describes sansara dukkha jaladhau patitasya kama krodhadi nakramakai kavali kritasya durvasana nigaditasya nirashayasya Chaitanya Chandra Mama Dehi Padavalambam, because we are following the path of Mahaprabhu, correct? So it's very pertinent to recall how the great devotees are praying to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu in Sikshastakam is praying on our behalf. He's demonstrating the proper mood and the seriousness and the urgency of making the permanent solution from the entanglement in this material world since eternity. It is so deep-rooted entanglement that on our own, even if we want, we cannot come out unless some force, unless something magical or something miraculous happens. It's a miracle that if we have been conditioned since eternity, we are discussing exit out of this material existence and to attain the supreme abode, to attain the supreme blissful shelter in the association of the Supreme Lord. So, Prabodhanand Saraswati is praying, I have fallen into the ocean of misery of repeated birth and death. He's really lamenting. Will we be able ever to lament like this? I have fallen into the ocean of misery of repeated birth and death, where the crocodiles and Capricorns of anger, lust, greed, and the like have come to eat me up. My hands and feet are bound by the chains of loathsome desires, abominable, horrible desires. And in this situation, I am without any safe haven. All other shelters or so-called heavens are all fallible. O Sri Chaitanya Chandra, kindly offer me shelter at your lotus feet, the boat that can carry me to safety. In Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna tells Uddhavji, who attains the perfection in Bhakti Yoga, where he describes Yadrichaya mat kathadav jat sadasya ye puman na niravinno nati sakto bhakti yogasya siddhida. He gives the secret of success in bhakti process. He says that one who is not too detached and one who is not too attached, they attain the perfection. Bhakti Yoga Siddhida, they attain the perfection in this Bhakti Yoga. What does it mean? Because one who is too detached, he will become also detached from Krishna. Too detached means detached from everything. In the name of detachment, we don't have to become detached even from that very thing. We must become attached, anchored to become attached to. That's why Bhagavatam elsewhere says, Saiva sadhushu krito prasangam ajaram pasham atmana kavayo viduhu. Saiva sadhushu krito. Bhagavatam guidelines that one should become detached from material things, perishable things, fallible, impermanent things. We must develop detachment from the impermanent things in this material world. But simultaneously that one should become attached to the sadhu, attached to the and sadhu means associate of Krishna. That's the eternal status. When we call someone sadhu, our perception should be that he's an associate of Krishna. So detachment, one should not become detached to even sadhus or Krishna's holy name, Nam Rupa Guna Lila Dham Parikar. So those who are utterly detached from everything, they remain deprived to attain perfection of the human potential, like the Jainis and Gyanis and Dhyanis and Buddhists, because they are detached from everything. If Krishna himself comes, the object of highest achievement, correct? They will call him also Neti Neti. So Mayavadi call anything which comes in their perception, subtle or gross senses, they say it is not, it is not. So they will deny even Krishna. They will even call Krishna Maya. That's why they are called Mayavadis. So at least he is not detached to Krishna. One can be very detached in every other thing, but he cannot afford, we cannot afford to become detached, detached to Krishna. That's why not too detached means at least he is not detached to Krishna. And at the same time, Nati Sakto, not too attached to sense gratification means at least is also attached to Krishna. So attached to Krishna, attachment to Krishna is the real purpose of this sadhana. So we don't follow the extreme path. We become so engrossed in and attached to sense gratification that Krishna doesn't come in our agenda. The Krishna is also worth becoming attached to. That idea also is. So one should not become too attached, so much so that one has no room left for becoming attached to Krishna. On the other hand, one should not become so detached that he will detach himself from Krishna also. So that's the process. So in this material world, however attached we have become into so many things, our entanglement is due to attachment only. So somehow through sadhu sangha, if we can cultivate our attachment to the sadhus and Krishna's devotional service, definitely we stand some chance. So, but in order to implore upon Krishna's mercy, to attract Krishna's mercy, one has to express in utter humility, correct? Humility is the way. And humility and the expression of desperation that Krishna wants to say how much we hanker for him, how much we mean to him. So out of humility, our acharyas is expressing their, dainya bhav, considering himself to be engrossed in material existence. And in his mood of self-deprecation, how precarious and how fallen I am. Self-deprecation. He prays for the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. So that should be also our, the material, the way the scriptures describe this material world, just to enlighten us, just to pull us out of our fascination of this material world. Samsara literally means which is always constantly moving. Samsara. So how can you hold on to, how can you grab something which is constantly moving? We cannot grab onto samsara, whatever position we are in. It just will move like just childhood. We cannot hold on to childhood. It grows into youth, and youth moves into old age, disease and death, correct? So that's why the scriptures give very vivid picture by giving the nomenclature to this world. Sansara. Oh, we will have a lot of fun in this material world. Merry-go-round. But it is not so merry in real sense. Repeated birth and death we experience all around us. It's a very, the scriptures describe this material world as something to be feared. It's a fearsome, it's a dangerous ocean. So in the ocean, uh, everybody is in that situation. The example is given. If thousands of people are thrown into the ocean, do you think anybody can save anyone else? Everybody is just gaping. Everybody is just trying to save oneself. So the fellow people, associates, they cannot save us. So that kind of precarious situation we have in this material world. We think that these relatives and these things, these people, all these things, but they cannot solve the real misery of this material existence. Nobody can help us transcend the old age, disease, or death. And that's why through satsang, an enlightened person should work out to find a permanent solution. And when Mahaprabhu has come to expose the most desirable, most wonderful existence, the shelter under the divine lotus feet, or service of the divine lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So Mahaprabhu has exposed the utmost to the highest perfection of our human potential, giving us the hope, giving us not only the hope, the guaranteed possibility of attaining the maid servanthood of Srimati Radharani. So that's why the Mahaprabhu's connection and the hankering for Mahaprabhu's mercy uh, will uh, will become the shortest and the surest way to our absolute success. So, so many learnings which come out of this fifth shloka, and our Acharya, immediate Acharya, like Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and the followers, they are expressing tremendous concern, and just to help us out, we can identify their mood because they are very immediate. They are very, you know, they did live with such developed sentiments. They express such sentiments which we can also imbibe, and we can also express like this. The urgency which they expressed in their prayers is just amazing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of his prayers in Gitabali, he says something very wonderful. I cannot resist to sing this, So, Anadi Karama Phale Padi Bhavar Nava Jale Tari Pare Na Dekhi Upaya E Vishaya Halahale Divanishi Hiyajvale Man Kabhu Sukha Nahi Paya. Those who understand Bengali, it's very simple, but you will read the English translation also. Asha Pasha Shata Shata Klesha Deya Avirat Pravati Urmira Tahi Khela Kama Krodha Adi Chaya Vata Pade Deya Bhaya Avasana Haila Ashi Bela Jnana Karma ठग दुई मोरे प्रति मेरे मोरे प्रतारिया है लई अवशेषे फेले सिंधु जले एहे न समय बंधु तुमी कृष्ण कृपा सिंधु कृपा करी तोल मोरे बले पतित किंकरे धरी पाद पद्म धूलि करी देह भक्ति विनोद आश्रय आमी तव नित्य दास भूलिया मायार पाश बद्ध है आछि दयामय अनादि कर्म फले पड़ी भवार नवे जले. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is praying to Lord Krishna. O supremely merciful Krishna, I am drowning in the bottomless ocean of material existence. Yes. Hope against hopes. A conditioned soul is going further into the ditches in the depth of material entanglement, thinking he will get happiness there. But I'm drowning in the bottomless ocean of material existence as a consequence of my fruitive activities, which are without any beginning. I can see no means of crossing this ocean. My heart is being scorched with the deadly poison of sense gratification. My mind is greatly perturbed and continuously troubled, being bound by the stringent ropes of unlimited lusty desires. I am being tossed here and there, struck by the violent crashing of the waves of material nature. On the one hand, my life duration is dwindling and death is approaching. On the other hand, lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, madness are like 6 thieves that have pounced upon me. Karma and jnana are like 2 swindlers, looters, who have cheated me and thrown me into a bottomless ocean. O ocean of mercy, at such a time of formidable distress, you are the only friend. O Krishna, kindly deliver me. I am your eternal servant. I have forgotten you and thus become tightly bound by the illusory energy. Please accept this fallen servant, Bhakti Vinod, and fix me. We can say for ourselves, please accept this fallen servant, this Dasanudas, and fix me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. So here the attempt to attain the lotus feet of Sri Krishna by one's own endeavor, you know, okay, attaining Supreme, but if one wants to attain the lotus feet of Krishna by one's own endeavor, is called Aroha Pantha, ascending process. Mahaprabhu has given us the process of descending. Krishna cannot be obtained by this method because it is opposed to the jiva's inherent function. What is the inherent function of the living entity? Only by adopting a service attitude. On my own, if one wants to feel, on my own I will attain the Supreme. But Krishna doesn't appreciate that. One thinks that through one's own endeavor, one who is dependent on one's own endeavor, he cannot hanker after, he cannot express the desperation as long as a person thinks that through my means and through my ability, through my qualification, I can attain the Supreme. But Supreme is something we can value. We can put value to the attaining the Supreme. Supreme is priceless. Supreme is not something one can qualify through one's qualifications of any sort. Supreme can be attained only by mercy, and mercy has to be hankered after. And to hanker after the mercy of Krishna, the mercy has to flow from above down. So that is a descending process. So we follow this path because this what is the jiva's inherent function? Inherent function of jiva is service attitude. Will everybody remember this? What is the inherent function of living entity? Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. So to perform service or the service attitude that is in accordance, because not only it is the inherent function of the living entity, and it is also in accordance with Krishna's will. So only by adopting a service attitude that is in accordance with Krishna's will is it possible to attain his lotus feet. So in sadhana, in the cultivation of bhakti process, we develop this attitude which is inherent function of the living entity. The service attitude we have to develop. No? So endowed with such firm faith, one should engage in the process of sadhana and bhajana, that I can call upon Krishna's mercy. Oh Krishna, we are incapacitated, we are shelterless. Without you, the so-called shelters, they are all what you call, all fallible, so they are not reliable. So they are, if we forget about you as the real shelter, then we will be cheated by all these so-called shelters, That's why Mahaprabhu is expressing that please provide me shelter even as a dust particle at your lotus feet. So when as a dust particle, if we attach to the lotus feet of Krishna, we won't leave it, correct? It's very difficult to dislodge a dust particle stuck to the sole of the feet. No? So if I can, if I'm accepted, chintaya, vichintaya means to be considered as a dust particle due to our insignificance. We are very insignificant. So even as a dust particle, if we are accepted or sheltered at the lotus feet of Krishna, we will stay. We won't leave that place. That's the idea. So Padadhuli, dust particle, indicate the living entity's eternal identity as an infinitesimal, minutest, infinitesimal part and parcel of Krishna, known as Vivinansha. So as long as the living entity is not situated in his inherent spiritual form with service attitude, then what happens? He is lost, he has become deprived from his inherent spiritual identity as Krishna's eternal servant. Our true identity or ahamkar, who I really am. I am Krishna's and therefore for Krishna only. This inherent quality or inherent attitude that I am Krishna's and therefore I am only for Krishna. Clear? If this inherent spiritual identity is not appreciated, until then, unwanted things that impede his advancement or anarthas are inevitable. The only way to free oneself from the anarthas which have gripped us, which have entangled us since eternity, only way out of is to become situated in our real identification as Krishna's and our determination that we are only meant for Krishna. But without that, until then, in our conditioned state, we remain bereft of targeting our ultimate goal of attaining eternal blissful existence. So naturally, by the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master, this bhava which Mahaprabhu is expressing in this word. Oh Krishna, I am yours. So I not deserve, but it is within my right to hanker after that shelter at your lotus feet. Naturally, because the spiritual master enlightens us, spiritual master is called the Sadguru. Sadguru means one who awakens the soul in one's eternal identification as the eternal servant of Krishna. So this bhav is transmitted into the living entity's heart. What bhav? Sambandha gyan. Sambandha gyan that I am eternal servant of Krishna. So when this bhava, this hankering, bhav is nothing but the expression of that hankering, longing for Krishna. How can I be without Krishna when I am Krishna's? How can I be not for Krishna when I'm supposed to be for Krishna only? So this remorse, this Atmaglani manifests in the heart of a devotee when he comes under association of such devotees who hanker after their ultimate self-interest. So by the mercy everything is made possible. And when then sentiments, this bhava is becomes manifest by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna. How that mercy flows? Because that mercy is stored in the heart of the spiritual master, and when free from any duplicity, when a living entity surrenders to the spiritual master to and adopts the process of Harinam Sankirtan under his guidance, then the merciful spiritual master, from the heart of this spiritual master, that mercy becomes transmitted. That is the process. And when that one receives the mercy, one is becomes contagious with that mercy, then the status of the living entity or the sadhaka is called Jatarati. Jatarati Bhakta, devotee in whom Rati or Bhava has manifested. There, so the difference we can see from our present status, most of us in that status, Ajatarati. Ajatarati means with the pure sentiment of hankering for Krishna is not sprouted in our heart. That is called Ajatarati Bhakta. One in whom Rati is not manifest as yet. And Ajatarati Bhakta means in whose heart, uh, by the mercy of the spiritual master Krishna, that sentiment of hankering for Krishna has sprouted in his heart. And that hankering will free him from all other hankering whatsoever of this material world. Until then, we can check ourselves how much we are still hankering after the mundane aspirations. But when the spiritual hankering is expressed by Mahaprabhu in this verse is sprouted in our heart by the transmission of mercy from the spiritual master, then we can see the difference. But sadhak sometimes has the temptation, because the tendency that, as we say, that self-centeredness, the duplicity, which takes the form of self-centeredness. One has a tremendous attraction to become recognized as something very advanced. So that is not very desirable. It is a deceit. No? So deceitfully present oneself as a Jatarati Bhakta, or one who has developed sentiments. So sentiments are aroused in one's heart. Because as we discussed, the very symptom of the person in whose heart the divine hankering has sprouted, no? He would not hanker for any other mundane aspirations or whatsoever. Because that hankering is so sublime, it will free him from all other hankering whatsoever. So the very fact that as long as we are even minutely, even very subtly inclined towards mundane aspirations of prestige, position, etc., to be recognized as a great devotee, uh, that itself is a proof that we are not situated on the Jatarati platform. So to deceitfully present oneself as a Jatarati Bhakta before having attained to such a stage is completely improper. After cleansing oneself of the impediments to devotional practice, anartha nibritti. So, Kam, Krodha, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsya, these are the gross anarthas. But the hankering, one may become apparently or grossly free from Kam, Krodha, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsya, but the hankering for recognition, puja, pratishtha, it could be very much still, one may be plagued with, So another one becomes, so this is the thing, one attains. So So this is the thing one has to watch out. That we go for the real thing. In order to go for the real thing, uh, if we really want to go for the real thing, we will definitely be able to leave behind all other unwanted aspirations. So, and in that hankering, there are asakti, stage of asakti. And in asakti, what happens? In our consciousness, our mind, our antakaran, especially chitta, follows as we hear the Krishna's pastimes, Ashtakaliya Leela, discussing like we are discussing this Vilap Kusumanjali, in which how the Kinkari or the Sadhak Raghunath Das Goswami is following in one's contemplation. Wherever Radharani goes, he just right behind her like a shadow. This is Swarasi ki one becomes very attached. This level of attachment in sadhana bhakti is very powerful. Rare, but attachment is rarely achieved. One should not be mistaken that I have become, or someone has become attached, because attachment is very rarely. And that attachment, that divine attachment to follow Radharani in one's contemplation wherever she goes, as we discuss Ashtakali Leelas, to the examples of all these Siddha associates of Mahaprabhu, Shad Goswamis and their writings. And our attachment alone will make us pure follower of those stalwart devotees. And the purpose is to become their follower, but that is only possible at the stage of asakti. And at the stage of asakti, one will become detached from all other hankerings. So, the Lord then automatically manifests in one's heart as an uninterrupted flow. So this bhava stage, which in this sloka we discussed the first aspect, the beginning of bhava, the asakti. Asakti causes hankering. So some symptoms are described. At the stage of asakti, the focus becomes very acute. One is no more interested in or ruchi even, different things. Asakti is always singular, as we discussed. So then he is able to let go all other things genuinely, just to target one thing. Aham Hare Tau Padaikamulam Muladasanudaso Bhavitasmi Bhuya Manasmarita Supatir Gunamste Grinita Vakarma Karotu Kaya. See, the purification of I, aham mameti, this is the entanglement. Identifying oneself with this body, and mama, mine. Who is mine? Those who are in relation to my body are mine. So those two things become purified. How? How in the prayers of Vitrasu, this is wonderfully described. So if one asks, who are you? A conditioned soul will tell in identification with this material perishable body. Correct? But Vitrasu is saying, Aham Hare Tau Padaika Dasanudaso Bhavitasmi Bhuya Manasmarita Supatir Gunamste Grinita Vakarma Karotu Kaya. O Lord Hari, will I again be able to become a servant of your servants? Das Dasanudas. That is the identification Mahaprabhu has given us to imbibe. Servant, when I will be again able to become a servant of your servant who have taken exclusive shelter at your lotus feet, I pray that my mind may always remain, because when I become situated as a servant of a servant of a servant, then my mind may always remain engaged in remembering your transcendental quality. Manas Marita Supase Gunamse. My words may be engaged in describing those qualities of yours, and my body in rendering varieties of service unto you, who are the Lord of my life. Correct? So, by his constitutional nature, the living entity is meant to be, we have heard many times, Prabhupada said that we are all meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. And Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, whereas Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, Bhokta. Therefore, by continuous practicing of bhajan, an ardent desire will arise in the heart to become a maid servant of Srimati Radharani. We are coming towards a conclusion. So what is the ultimate understanding or the highest understanding of saying that we as part and parcel of Krishna, we are meant to be enjoyed by Krishna? What is the meaning of being enjoyed by Krishna? We cannot impose that on Krishna. Krishna, I am meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. Why don't you enjoy with me? That is not the meaning of we are meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. We are meant to be utilized, sacrificed to fulfill the cause of Krishna. That is the purpose. If Krishna has better choice, better people to enjoy with, and Krishna doesn't even look at us, we will blame Krishna. Krishna, don't you understand? I'm meant to be enjoyed by you. Why are you not enjoying with me? I'm 24/7 thinking of you, looking to you, but you are always engrossed with Radharani and mostly and sometimes with others. What about me? Have you forgotten that you have given me this, that I meant to be enjoyed by you? So we should not take to be enjoyed by Krishna literally the way we want. We cannot impose our understanding or our liking upon Krishna. But unconditionally, we have the possibility, we have the capacity to become the object of Krishna's attraction if we sacrifice ourselves unconditionally and whichever way Krishna wants to engage us. So as Mahaprabhu, Krishna has come to reveal that fortune that become a maid servant of Srimati. Hankar aspire to attain the shelter of Radharani. Radharani is the essence of God. So, of course, God is only one, manifest as Yugal, as a couple. So, rather than taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, if you take Hankar, aspire to take shelter of Radharani's lotus feet, that will be more useful, that will be more admired, that will be more appreciated by Krishna. So ultimately, in the teachings of Mahaprabhu, Krishna is definitely the supreme enjoyer, and our bhajan should target what will impress Krishna the most, or trying to associate with him directly, or if you develop an ardent desire to become maid servant of Srimati Radharani, who is the embodiment of transcendental bliss. So at that time, we fully appreciate the message of Mahaprabhu, the Mahaprabhu's Manobhishta, what he really wants to bestow upon the human society. Such a fallen conditioned soul of this Kali Yuga, he has come to bestow the highest fortune. Are we able to appreciate the gift Mahaprabhu so willingly wants to give? Can our hankering and what Mahaprabhu has come to give us coincide, become one? then we will definitely attract the fullest mercy of Mahaprabhu, because if we only desire what Mahaprabhu has come to give us, there would be no conflict of interest on both sides, you know. So at that time, the Gopi Bhava or Manjari Bhava, the loving sentiment exhibited by the cowherd girls of Braja awakens in the heart. All the girls, all the gopis, but the bhava which we are aspiring is Manjari Bhava. Manjari is also Gopi, Sakhi is also Gopi. But the general common connotation of Gopi is one who enjoys with Krishna. No. Our aspiration is to become a maid servant of Srimati Radharani. That is how we become useful even for Krishna. Because when we become confidential of Radharani, then Krishna finds something of value in us. You know, we can help in bringing Radharani or make Radharani favorable to meet Krishna, because sometimes, many times, Radharani is becomes unavailable, or due to man becomes not favorable to meet Krishna. So Krishna has to befriend those who are very confidential to Radharani. So that way, Mahaprabhu has exposed that secret, that if you become confidential of Radharani, then I will be most pleased with you. So the latest version of God, Mahaprabhu has come to bestow upon us the highest fortune. And how can we not go for it? The necessity of taking shelter of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani is so wonderfully expressed by our acharyas, you know, especially Raghunath Das Goswami. He's expressed something very, very wonderful, where he says, Anaradhya Radha Padam Bhoja Renum Anashritya Vrindatavim Tat Padankam Asambhashya Tadbhava Gambhira Chittam Uta Shyama Sindho Rasa Shyavagadha. If you have never worshipped the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani or taken shelter of Sri Vrindavan, which is marked with the impressions of her lotus feet, or spoken with the devotees whose hearts are deeply submerged in the profound loving sentiments of Srimati Radhika Rani, how can you become immersed in the blackish ocean of nectar known as Shyama Sindhu Rasa? Anyway, so much wonderful expressions by our previous acharyas. But in conclusion, we can say that attainment of the service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani is the one and only goal of the devotee situated in the stage of ecstatic emotion. Bhavuka bhaktas, before we become bhav bhaktas, at least some sentiments have to be developed, or some fascination, some raga, some romanch or guman or abhiman. It's like an expression of inner pride to identify oneself as a maid servant of Srimati Radharani. And we are all would be maid servants of Srimati Radharani. Not in this body. This body is perishable. With this body, we cannot touch Radharani's lotus feet or serve her. But if we develop the sentiments during this sadhana kal, sadhane bhavive jaha siddha dehe paive taha, then, so this is exhibited in the ultimately, 8th sloka, which will be the last sloka of Mahaprabhu. So what we are targeting from this sloka onward is that attaining the shelter as a maid servant, as the choicest maid servant, Srimati Radharani. So let us stop here today. And thank you for your patient hearing, listening. And we can invite some questions, comments, additions, corrections. Please come forward. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Fascinating, Shri Guru. It's definitely a level up, again a level up, a level up, a level up, all the way, increasing and increasing only, Shri Guru. These words coming from your transcendental wisdom, coming from your pure Nikunj consciousness altogether, Shri Guru. It it shakes me up, it shakes us up, exposes the cheating in me, it brings me to reality and kind of so lovingly take pulls me towards reality. Really, Shigur, only by your mercy only is it going to happen that this samsara will come to a full stop altogether, and this hankering and desperation to coincide with Mahaprabhu's blessed gift that he is giving, and somehow it awakens in my heart. But only and only by your mercy, Shri Guru. Somehow or another, Shri Guru, pray to become Ken Shri Guru, Charane Rati Shri Guru. And fascinating, Shri Guru, that speck of dust you mentioned, like physically also it is so difficult to spot a speck of dust within a feet and also get rid of it. Somehow, Shri Guru, by your blessings, I pray that I become Chipak Jaun Shri Guru at your lotus feet day and night. Mama Bhuyada Nisham Shri Guru, thinking of you, loving of you, and desiring to become your Palya Dasi Shri Guru. By the blessings of yourself, your divine grace, Shri Guru, and your Sakis. Koti Koti Pranam Shri Guru.
So the example given by Mahaprabhu is very pertinent. In order to become stuck as a dust particle at the lotus feet, one has to become very small, correct? In our conditioning in the material world is that we think anything but small. Can you imagine? Since eternity we have been thinking of oneself as big and aspiring for becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If the reality check comes, oh my God, in order to become safe, one has to become very small. How much ready is one to become so small, to become a dust particle at the lotus feet? So it is all in the consciousness. Consciousness is plagued with so much misinformation, misidentification. We are anything but big. We are so small we cannot imagine from material point of view. The Upanishads, the Vedas, they try to dissuade us to think of the soul 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. What does it mean? Although it intellectually or in our conception, we can okay, tip of the hair, but hardly one is able to see the tip of the hair. Can somebody grab the tip of the hair? No. To divide it into further 10,000 parts. So it's trying to dissuade us to try to understand the minuteness of the living entity. Or it cannot be. That's why one way to the purpose of dissuading is that we don't try to understand the size of the soul from material material point. It's anti-material, it's anti-matter. It is spiritual in nature, but uh, only by becoming feeling insignificant and small, one gains the significance to become the object of Krishna's attraction. The contrast is Krishna is the biggest, correct? And we are definitely the smallest. So only by appreciating our position is very small and insignificant, we can attract Krishna's mercy. So our misidentification alone is the kapat or the duplicity we have adopted, we have adored or adorned like a cloth, and hidden our identity as an eternal servant of Krishna. We have taken the garb of becoming a master, and that cover has to be removed. So our participation in Sankirtan has to become intense. Intensity comes when we have clear target. So those devotees who aspire to become a choicest maid servant of Srimati Radharani should constantly seek Krishna's mercy through intense Sankirtan. Hmm? Keeping in my heart, keeping in our heart, what should we keep in our heart? The highest aspiration. My highest aspiration to obtain the service of the feet of Srimati Radhika Rani. This thought, this aspiration, this hankering should rule our inner consciousness. I should constantly meditate on Sri Krishna, whose head is bedecked with a peacock feather. Why we pray to Krishna? Because we want to impress Krishna. Yes, Krishna, what you really want? I appreciate that you have shown me the way. What should I aspire? So in our aspiration should be to attain the lotus feet of Radharani, to become the maid servant. But we also implore Krishna. Yes, Krishna, see? You know, so that's why when by his mercy, then we will be pushed towards the service of the feet of Srimati Radharani, and that hankering, the desire that will awaken in our heart. And that is also the prayer of Prabhupada Saraswati. Because the latest version of Krishna is Mahaprabhu, na? So yatha yatha gaur padar vindeta bhaktim krita punya rashi तथा तथोत्सर पतिहृदयकस्मात् श्री राधा पदाम्भोज सुधाम्बुराशि. My only desire is to obtain the service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika Rani. Having fixed this goal in my heart, I constantly meditate on Sri Krishna, chant his names, serve his lotus feet, and utter his mantra. So basically saying, in our Krishna bhajan, when we target to attain the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, Krishna becomes most impressed. Krishna knows in our heart, correct? What we want, what we want, what we want, what we want. So if we want what really Krishna appreciates the most, what could be a better bhajan? So in this way, we shall obtain his mercy, and deep spontaneous attachment will awaken towards Radharani's lotus feet. In Utkalika Vallari, Rupa Goswami prays to Krishna like this. He says, Pranipatya bhavantam arthaye pashupalendra kumar kakubhi braja yauvat mauli mallika karuna patram imam janam kuru. With great supplication, Kakubi means with great dainya or prayerful mood in desperation. They somehow, O Krishna, make me the object of the mercy of Radharani, who is the best among the Braj Gopis, like that. So that is the hankering. And so Mahaprabhu's this Sikshastakam will now on will lead us to that target only. So we are this arrangement of discussing Sikshastakam is very targeted, just like the path of pure devotional service. Whichever stage you are in the beginning, middle, end, it is connected to the end also, correct? The beginning part is also connected to the end, like a staircase. No? If you are in the first step of the staircase, it is also connected to the last stage, no? Last stair. So in the same way, our study of Sikshastakam will always remind us of our supreme target. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So, we can wind up. Anybody, anything one wants to say? Amanda and Andrew, our new guest. Yes,
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare
कुछ
Krishna.
कहना है कहो.
Okay, there is one more hand also. Amanda and Andrew. You want to say something?
Yes, Shri Guru.
Hare,
So, raise. Okay, say one by one.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. What I'm feeling now is that I wanted to ask for some specific guidance from you. I was noticing in myself through the very powerful, very beautiful class. Thank you so much. I was noticing that I could recognize in myself a tendency that I've had to want to negate things. And then I also noticed at different points that, it's a subconscious thing. So it's good to become aware of it. And I noticed when I was noticing things that I could recognize in myself that were negative traits, I felt a huge amount of shame, like almost an overwhelming feeling of shame that I then notice kind of creates a feeling of wanting to negate myself. And so the question that I wanted to ask is, what would you advise as the first steps to coming away from this? Because sometimes the shame feels so big. Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
They are saying that when one acknowledges that one is fallen, correct?
Yeah.
So one advantage that person has. What is that advantage? And one does not have that advantage until one really acknowledges that one is fallen. It's very difficult, but the advantage we will discuss, because from negative, our purpose is to turn your direction to the positive, correct? So advantage means positiveness, isn't it so? that one once acknowledges that one is fallen, one can fall no further. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
So this acknowledgement that I am fallen, only one direction to move now, coming up upward, na? And so everything is behind us. What is the vision of a sadhu? I like to share. A sadhu is not so much concerned what the other person was. If we think of if we analyze our history of innumerable births, it's so horribly traumatic. We cannot handle it. Just think of how merciful Krishna is. Krishna makes us forgetful of all the traumatic things we had in the past lives. We have only just this present life. But even in this present life, sometimes we go through the experiences and our surrounding, upbringing, many factors. But we cannot be choosy. Especially a sadhu cannot be choosy. If someone is like this or his history is like that, or what the person may be even at the present, as you are telling, your negative aspects. But my vision is what you can be. I look at your potential, and potentially you have the equal opportunity. Others may appear apparently better off than you, but that doesn't guarantee being better. And you're apparently not being so better off. It's a it's not a blockage for you to attain the highest perfection of a human potential. The whole idea is at what moment you find the resolve, at what moment the enlightening becomes awakening. Then nothing will haunt you, nothing can haunt you. Only an unawakened person can be haunted. An unenlightened person. So this enlightenment has to last incessantly. That is called awakening. Awakening is nothing but incessant enlightening. Then you will be able to disassociate with all the negative angles and thinking, because you are not what you have been trapped by your own identification. You are Sri Radha's. So sadhu's vision is to see in you a would-be, a purest, choicest maid servant of Srimati Radharani. And therefore just work up to that fortune. You are not poor at all. So, but in material conditioning, we have hankerings. We feel that we are bereft of many things. We are bereft of this and that. But what about, we have been bereft, we have been deprived of our fulfillment of highest potential. That should be worrisome. That should be, if any negative thought comes, or if, because of the residual practice, we have been thinking negative of so many times. Then it should be targeted towards why I could not focus on my highest perfection or the potential. That should, so our worrying nature or our concern should be targeted towards attaining the perfection of our human potential. That alone will transform our attitude, the way we look, the way we think, the way we speak, the way we deal, everything overnight, instantaneously. Because now we got the real target, and that target must become most fascinating. Just feel the joy or the thrill to be one day called as the choicest servant of Srimati Radharani.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yeah, because
Thank you very
because there is no other, because all other process are just like a little cure. We have to address our ailment, the root cause of it. This misidentification. The sooner we free ourselves from this misidentification, we will be through it. No other, nothing else, because we have gone through every other option. Since eternity, we have multiple times we have gone through picking many options. Now only Mahaprabhu's option left for us. Let's go, Mahaprabhu. And you will find that
much.
you are not alone. You are with the most desirable group. Even as a sadhaka, this focus, this direction, this vision will free us from many unwanted vices, even in our mutual dealings with fellow people, because we are not scorching upon anybody else's fortune. Even a sadhaka, we are all going to be would-be gold medalists. So if somebody is going ahead of you, that person can be the source of inspiration for you, because by him or her going ahead of you for the gold medal, they are not snatching away your gold medal. Your gold medals will be given to you only. So there is a realm of gold medal for everyone. Then who we will be envy? Who will try to lord over? Who will try to undermine? We all have equal opportunity. We have the equal fortune awaiting all of us. This real, what they call the spiritual, this vision of Mahaprabhu is the real socialism, or what you call communism, where everybody wants to be, the ideal is to treat everybody equally. How can you treat everybody equally when the means are limited, when the everybody just targeting the limited thing? Only by targeting the unlimited thing, everybody can be very happily get the highest thing which is possibly available. All right?
Yes, thank you. The way you answer my queries, really, it just feels like you see me, and your answer is just so, it speaks straight to my heart. Very, very grateful.
You are always welcome, Sri Swamini Matirasi. Okay, Premanjana.
हरे कृष्णा प्रणाम श्री गुरु।
Hare Krishna.
आपकी कृपा से हृदय के पन्नों पर रक्त वर्ण के अनुराग से भरी स्याही के स्वर्ण कलम से जो कृपा किसी की ही ऐसी कि उन पन्नों पर श्री गुरु रूप स्वामिनी को अंकित कर दिया। योग्यता नहीं है, प्रेम नहीं है, पर जब भी सत्संग के विराम के बाद जब कुछ कहने का अवसर मिलता है, ऐसा लगता है जैसे हर सत्संग में किसी से पहली बार प्रेम का इजहार करने जा रहे हो। इतनी बार मिले, बात की, फिर भी ये हृदय की गति ने तीव्रता को ही स्वीकारा। लगता था और लगता है आज भी कि संकोच ही है, पर नहीं पता क्या है। आपकी सुंदरता हर दिन बढ़ती हुई नजर आती है और दिव्यता का एहसास भी बढ़ ही रहा है। अपनी 2-3 सखियों से शेयर भी की थी एक बात, जब पहली बार आपके दर्शन किए थे पिछले साल अप्रैल में श्री वृंदावन धाम में। पहली नजर में ही ऐसा एहसास हुआ कि श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु का एहसास कराया आपने। प्रथम बार दर्शन कर हृदय अनुभूति हलो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु आजी नयने देखिया। और पहले दिन आपने इस दासी को स्वीकारा। शोनीते शोनीते वाणी परिचय जानिया में श्री राधा नित्य दासी मुई हृदय जानी लो। मुझे याद है पहले ही दिन जब आपने मेरा नाम पूछा, मैंने अंजलि कहा पर आपने अंजना सुना, और आपकी ही एक प्रिय सखी ने इस अधम दासी को एप्रिशिएट करने पर प्रेमांजना कहकर संबोधित किया था। कहाँ जानती थी कि यही नाम देंगे आप। अचानक स्मरण आया कुछ ही दिन पहले। क्या फैसिनेटिंग नहीं है आपके बारे में। हर शब्द, हर वाक्य, हर कृपा ही बहुत बहुत फैसिनेटिंग है। जन्म तो केवल आपकी सेवा के लिए हुआ है ना अब संसार में मन लग पाए इस हृदय का जिस पर आपकी कृपा हो, और दूसरी तरफ उस दिव्य जगत की सेवा परिपाटी की नितांत अयोग्यता, नितांत अयोग्य आपकी ये दासी, ये जो बीच में फंस गई हो, उस फसाहट से निकाल कर भी तो आप ही एवर एक्सटैटिक बना सकते हो, परी कॉन्शियस बना सकते हो। इच्छा ही तो नहीं कर पाई अनंत काल से, आज करना चाहती हूँ। अभी भी वंचित ही होना। निशीथ शिशिर निकुंज माझे मृदु बहे वनोवायु कदम्ब गंध विषेबिर मधुर रसेर छाया। राधा श्याम विश्राम करे फुलेर शैया माझे लज्जित छोटो किंकरी डारी दूरे थाके साजे। मने भावे की करी आमी सेवा जानी ना किछु तबु के नो प्राणेर माझे सेवार इच्छा पेछु। धीरे धीरे आगे एसे सजाए राधिकर केश, चरण तले फूल सजाए करे मधुर परिवेश। चंदन जले भिजे आंचल, स्पर्श कोमल चरण, से ही खाने किंकरी हृदय, भरे आनंद धरण। श्याम हसिया राधे बोले, देखो तुम्हारे ए दासी, करुणा दृष्टि स्वामी ने देना, भरे उठे मनेर बाशी। किंकरी भावे আর কিছু নাই, এই সেবা দাও আমায়। জন্মে জন্মে নিকুঞ্জ দ্বারে, রাখো তোমার ছায়ায়। কি করে কিঙ্করি বিচারে, নাহি জানি পরিপাটি, न जाने शुद्ध प्रेम है। सदा बसे कौतूहल, नाचे मोर चित्त। दिन दिन बड़े मोर कौतूहल चित्त, सेवार लागिए मन, कांदे ने प्रीते। खेद उठे प्राणे, भाविया अनुक्षणे, केनो ना पारी सेवा তোমার চরণ। আমি অতি দিন এই কিঙ্করি তোমার, হাহা মোর শ্রী গুরু, হাহা স্বামিনী আমার। कृपा करिया मोरे लाओ, निज पाशे। सेवामृत दिया, नचाओ ए दासे। केनो बाछे आमी बिना प्रेम सेवा, के सुख আছে মোরা এই জীবন ভাব। এই ধম দাসী কেন না গেল মরিয়া, কৃপা করিয়া লাও চরণে আমারে। प्रेम सेवामृत दिया, राखो निज द्वारे। की कोरी किंकरी विचारे। हा हा श्री गुरु हा हा स्वामिनी, एकमात्र पुकारा। निष्प्राण प्रेमांजना सिंचो, प्रेमामृत दिया। निष्प्राण प्रेमांजना सिंचो, सेवामृत दिया। कल सत्संग के आखिर में जब आपने बताया सेल्फ एनालिसिस करना चाहिए, हाँ, बहुत अवगुण, अनर्थ, डुप्लीसिटी सब कुछ है, इनकार नहीं कर सकती मैं। पर
You could you could conclude little bit in English, so that those who understand only English, they are not.
मैंने लिखा ही नहीं इंग्लिश में।
It's all right.
बोलो
Huh?
बोलो आगे।
मैं क्या कुछ express something in English in conclusion, so that
कोशिश करूंगे।
some some participants they can follow only English.
ओके,
You can express something in English, na?
प्रयास करूंगी.
What are the last part you spoke? You can just because
अभी पूरा नहीं हुआ.
acha. Okay. You can send the whole thing in writing. It will be the conclusion. Can you say in English?
कोशिश करूंगी.
Okay, try.
अभी जो कहना है वो तो कहो हिंदी में.
कह दो.
कि रूपे पाइबो सेवा मुहि दुराचार, श्री गुरु वैष्णवेर रति न होइलो अमर. अशेष मायाते मन मगन होइलो, वैष्णवे तेलेश मात्र रति न जन्मिलो. विषय भूलिया अंध होइनो दीवानिशी, गले फांस दीते फिरे माया से पिशाची. इहारे कुरिया जय छड़ानो न जाय, साधु कृपा बिना आर नाही को उपाय. अदोष दर्शी श्री गुरु पतित उधार, এই বারে প্রেমাঞ্জনে করো নিস্তার. এই বারে প্রেমাঞ্জনে করো निस्तार. इच्छा की आपके लिए प्रेमांजना हमेशा ओपन बुक जैसे ही रहे. डुप्लिसिटी और अनर्थों को त्याग कर ये हृदय निखालसता से केवल आपकी वाणी सेवा के राग पर नृत्य करते रहे. ये भी आप ही की कृपा से संभव है. कब ऐसी तीव्र स्पृहा जागृत होगी, कब ऐसा उत्साह हृदय में होगा, कब ऐसी तीव्र लालसा होगी, कब श्री गुरु रूप स्वामिनी के लायक बन पाऊंगी, कब उस प्रेम काजल का नित्य अभिषेक होगा, कब वो नेत्र वास्तव में आपके रूप माधुर्य का गुणगान कर पाएंगे, कब हृदय इस दिव्य ध्वनि पर नृत्य करेगा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. तब आपका स्मरण रोमांच लाएगा. मेरी श्री गुरु रूप स्वामिनी जिन जिन पर आपने करुणा पूर्वक एक बार प्रेम दृष्टि की, वे सब मंजरी बन गए. कितने फिर श्री राधे श्याम प्रेम सागर में निमग्न ना हो गए हो. सभी ही स्वामिनी की मंजरी बनकर इस रस सागर में मग्न हो गए. अपनी नगण्यता को देख मुझे तो अपने पक्ष में ऐसी आशा भी नहीं दिखती. मैं कहूँ तो क्या कहूँ. फिर भी श्री गुरु रूप स्वामिनी जिनके सारे अंग ही करुणा से ओतप्रोत है, मक्खन के जैसे, जो महादावानल अग्नि में जल रही इस दासी की ताप से एक न एक दिन तो मक्खन रूपी करुणा पिघल कर इस दासी पर बरसेगी. जहाँ श्री गुरु रूप स्वामिनी है, वहाँ ऑलवेज होप है. 2 दिन पहले आपकी कृपा से आपके ही नाम का फुल फॉर्म, श्री गुरु का फुल फॉर्म, अब ये इंग्लिश में होगा. यही कंक्लूजन है. तो श्री गुरु SHREEGURU, तो S का फुल फॉर्म शुद्ध सत्व स्वरूप, द वन whose nature is pure transcendental existence. H. Hriday Anand Pradayaka, the one who fills the heart of the disciple with spiritual bliss. R. Rasa Tattva Prakashaka, the revealer of the divine spiritual mellows of devotion. E. Ishvari Kripa Pravahaka, the flowing stream of the Srimati Radhika's mercy. Second E. Ek Ashraya Dayamay, the one compassionate shelter for the surrendered soul. G. Gauranga Kripa Avirbhav, the manifestation of the mercy of Sri Gauranga. U. Uddharaka Samsara Sagar, the deliverer of souls from the ocean of material existence. R. Radha Shyam Prema Pradata, the bestower of divine love for Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. U. Ujjwala Bhakti Pradipaka, the one who lights the lamp of radiant pure devotion. सब कुछ तो आपका ही है, तो आज मेरा ये जन्मदिन भी आपका ही हुआ. हर एक चीज आपकी. हरे कृष्णा. प्रणाम श्री गुरु.
So she forgot to translate in which she so enthusiastically saying that today she's 21, today is her birthday. So this is like a birthday offering she has made. So we can all jointly congratulate her on her 21 years of arrival. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare Hare
हरे
Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama,
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari
Hare
Hari.
Hare Bol.
All right.
हृदय से कहेंगे हमारे प्रिय श्री गुरु परम पूज्य श्रील भक्ति स्वरूप गोविंद महाराज जी की जय.
Jai
Jai.
Jai Jai
Bhaktavind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hare Hare
We'll join you all
हरि
again
हरि बोल.
less than 1 hour.
प्रणाम श्री गुरु. हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Pranam.
Anyone wants to say something last? Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari 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 Bol. Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Swamini Mati Astu. Nitai Gaur Premanande. So now we have two English once a week, huh? Twice a week. That's good enough.
Yay!
Okay. For the pleasure and satisfaction of Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari 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 Bol. Hari 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 Bol.